What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. I am officially back from the dead. Just kidding. Thanks, I am back, guys. I am back. I am alive. It was hard to come up here to the back of my house just to record this episode, and you would think that it'd be easy, but I'm sleep deprived. I still don't have my baby on the schedule. They say it doesn't really work until 4 weeks, so I'm having to wait. But she's almost there. I'm 3 weeks postpartum, guys. So
wow.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks. So she'll be 4 weeks or a month next Sunday. So I will start working on the sleep schedule with her. Yeah. So
that's a big deal, man.
It's a big deal. It was a big deal with Penny, and we made it work, and I immediately started it. So it was like, we're not
having him on a schedule. I'm sure you know, throws everything off.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because when I was having my mom here, guys, it was really hard because it wasn't hard, it was easy, right? Because she took over Penny in the evenings, but then when she left, it was like, oh my God, because I still can't pick up Penny.
Right.
But she's so good. She's doing everything on her own. She gets out of the bath by herself. I don't have to lift her or anything like that. So it's been fine. So before we get started, guys, y'all know I like to kick off my podcast with a quote. And I think after all I've been through with this pregnancy and this delivery, I think positive quotes are a must now because we need to be encouraged at all times. And I want to kick it off with this little quote. Don't chase love, money, or success. Become the best version of yourself, and those things will chase you. Let it chase you. You don't chase it, So
it's a good message considering what we were talking about today.
For sure. Yeah. So, and don't forget, guys, I will be announcing this later today, but by the time you get it, it's Wednesday and today's Monday. But mystery boxes will be up for sale on our website. So I'm excited because we're getting ready for new inventory as fall comes in, new designs, etc. I'm making one that says Mom Gang on there, and I'm really excited about that one.
Gang.
Right? Exactly. So I can't wait for you guys to see that one. It's going to be probably a whole unit, like a hoodie and pant thing for the winter time. So I'm excited about that. So, yeah. So a lot of new things and new athletic apparels coming in as well. So as the fall comes in, so we need to get rid of some more inventory. So I decided to do mystery boxes, which I had never done, which was kind of hard to wrap my head around, to be honest with you. I'm sitting there at the merch office. I have Joseph and Pete helping me out while I can't move. I'm sitting on a chair pointing like this. All right, so those
like a straight up patrona.
Literally like a straight patrona. And I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of fun not to be able to do nothing. So, yeah, so we did that. It was crazy though, because I decided to take the baby with me because you would think Luisa has already taken care of Penelope, right?
Right.
That I would not have this like weird thing about like not like literally watching her like the way I did with Penny with the second baby. You would think like she's proven herself. And I still can't I didn't want to leave her with Luisa.
Sure.
So I took her with me. And, it's not the most comfortable place to take a child. And she was sweating and I felt so bad. And I was like, all right, Pete, we're going to have to come back and do this another day. I was like, is she sweating? It's like, I don't know why you didn't just leave her at home with Luisa. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
right.
I know. I don't know why either. But you know what I'm saying? It was like this morning too. She was like, hey, you want to sleep a little bit before you have to get with Rob? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna feed her myself. Let me feed her. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
it's got to be a newborn thing, right?
I think it's a newborn thing.
Like
yeah,
just within the mother, like you got to be pretty close to it.
Yeah, and excuse me, right now she's watching her.
Her.
Well, did I say it?
I said it.
Oh. And I'm like, and so she's watching her while I come back here to record, but she's asleep. So I know that she doesn't wake up until a little bit. So it's like, I did all my mom duties before I
Yeah.
left, so I kind of feel she's just kind of watching her. But yeah, so it's been a little bit of a change for me. I've been, you know what I'm saying? It was I'll be honest with you. I don't know what postpartum depression is, right? And I know that that's a really big topic for a lot of women. And to be honest with you, when I did this Q&A video that I'm going to drop on YouTube, guys, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. I'm going to make a lot more content there. I have some content from my Patreons as well. So Patreons, I will start doing a live stream for you guys. If you're is it a patrona, Rob, that we're doing? Is it going to be patrona and...
We haven't really found out the details yet.
So when we figure out the details, I want to start doing a live, an exclusive live stream for you guys. And just for us to sit there and like literally like everybody grab their glass of wine or whatever it is. And it's just going to be like a topic and we're just all going to like just chit chat and hang out. And since it's a pandemic and, you know, it's so hard to go anywhere to do meetups and not everybody lives in Houston because I would love to do a meetup instead, you know. We thought about doing that a long time ago, Rob. Do you remember at Eighth Wonder? We thought at the distillery, we thought we could do a little with the What Did He Said when we first started that. But the way things are going right now, I don't know. You know, and I don't think it's fair too for the women that are patrons and you know aren't in Houston. It's probably like,
plus I feel like a lot of people are so used to doing online events now, like whether it's for work or whatever kind of conference or even church or whatever, that this is the kind of thing that everyone's on board with now.
For sure. So I kind of want to make it like a girl talk type thing, and then you know, whatever it is your choice of drug for the live stream is, then you do it, and more power to you.
In the comfort of your own home.
In the comfort of your home, exactly. You don't have to drive nowhere. Just ask your husband for 1 hour. I just need 1 hour to myself, and you know that's it. But yeah, I think for me, this time off was really difficult. I thought if there isn't a syndrome called a busybody syndrome, I probably invented it. That was the most depressing thing for me.
The past 3. Well, how long has it been? 3 weeks?
It's been 3 weeks. Just not being able to do for myself, like having other people do things for me. Can you please get me this? Or having it being hard to get up from the bed. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of you have a process to get out. It's like your legs first thing you push up, and then it's like, can you get the baby out of the bassinet for me? Because it's like, it takes longer for me to get out of the bed than it does for me to just tell Pete, can you grab the baby so I can feed her? You know what I'm saying? And I do breastfeed. So that's even harder because it's like finding the right position to put the baby. Let me tell you something. You know how they said there's women out there who plan their children and then they just set up a C-section like it's a given. They're not doing vaginal. Okay, legit, I thought I was a real G for always doing my births with no epidural and delivering at home.
Yeah.
But if you just on your own just schedule a C-section because that's your preference and you don't want to deal with having a vaginal birth, you're the real MVP.
What?
This has been the worst thing for me. I know now, Rob, for a fact that a mommy makeover, I would not fucking survive it.
I was just going to say that.
I won't survive it. I will not survive it. I will not. I really thought about it. I said, looking at my stomach, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to probably need some skin removal after I drop my weight because I can already see it as I'm getting smaller. Does that make sense?
Hey, let's be positive. Come on.
I'm going to be positive, but I see it. And so I just thought to myself, so I start going on YouTube to see how tummy tucks work, right? I was like, oh, no.
Aren't they like facelifts where they cut it and they stretch it and then they pin it?
Down,
yeah.
I'm like, I can't. That's what a C-section is. I mean, they're opening up your stomach. It's like this and they pull the baby out. I'm just like, okay, if you choose to do this, because my mom told me she's got a client who is a doctor, okay, and she and I were due around the same time. My mom's like, and told her, she's like, yeah, but my daughter does a home birth, right? It's before the whole shenanigans happened. And then my mom, she's like, why does she do that to herself? She's like, does she know she can just schedule a C-section?
Does she know?
And, just have the baby and that's it. She's like, yeah, but why would she want to do that? She goes, to her, it was like, why would she want to have a vaginal birth? And this was hardcore for me. Maybe because I've never had any major surgery.
Yeah, I could see that totally.
You know,
neither have I. Knock on this fake wood that I never have to.
Same. I'm about to do the Mexican way because I've never had any major surgery. I've never like had to be like in a hospital for any reason. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was a really difficult thing. Like it was just like, I don't like this. I don't like feeling like this. I don't like feeling like you're so vulnerable to begin with. It's like you have to allow everybody to do things for you and they're touching you. And it's like, you know.
How are you with like blood and needles and all that?
I don't have a problem with that. Like blood and needles is not my thing. For me, it's just like, it's like the stupidest thing. Like, how do I really know what they're giving me is what they're giving me?
Oh my God.
I don't know. I don't fucking trust. And then y'all, I'm going to talk about, I did a video of my birthing story because I did a Q&A and a lot of the questions were more about like, what happened? So the Q&A video that we recorded the other day turned into a birthing story as well. So I did 2 different videos. I'm wearing the same outfit on those videos. So guys, if y'all are wondering like, why is this girl wearing the same? That's why. So we had to split it because otherwise it was going to be like a 15-minute video. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no one's going to sit through a 15-minute video, guys. The attention span of everybody is a minute per these reels, if at that. So, you know what I'm saying?
Per these reels.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you to those that are watching and sharing the reels.
Yeah, thank you.
And saving. You can tell people when they save it in there.
Yeah,
do you ever save stuff on Instagram?
I do.
Okay.
It's more shopping things, but yes, I do. So, shout out to Rob. He brought me coffee, guys.
Hey.
I mean,
it's not your birthday, but happy birthday.
Thank you. Oh, today's my honey's birthday.
Oh, man.
Man, bro, he's the real MVP.
Well, we know that already.
We do, but he's been the real MVP like during this time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know that I fucking bust his balls a lot and I give him a hard time, you know. But man,
Well, take a sip of your coffee and let's expand on that because I feel like that's kind of one of the things I wanted to ask you. I was looking forward to this because 3 weeks without doing a podcast with you is the longest we've gone in a long time without doing a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you miss out on the other part of what's going on in life.
Yeah.
And you do bust his balls a lot. Yeah. And we do say that, you know, he'll say that he needs more patience sometimes. Yeah. So how has all that been throughout the last couple of weeks?
He's been doing a really good job, but I would catch him. Sometimes I go like this and he would catch himself. Like for those who can see, it's almost like a big sigh and he'd look up. And I'd be like, see, that's why I hate this. I hate being like this. I hate needing anything from anybody. But I know I know it was nothing towards me. It's like, it was him for everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had to handle everything. And yes, my mom was here, but my mom works during the day. So she would come in and help at night. You know what I'm saying? It's more like helping with Penny, getting her ready for bed. You know what I'm saying? That part of it. Luisa would come in, but again, she's helping with Penny during the day, and I'm just I'm the one handling Jimena. So you know, it's kind of one of those things. But he did an amazing job. I mean, anything like making sure food was ready, making sure you know anything I needed was right by like my nightstand. Real MVP. I mean, he stayed at the hospital with me. You know what I'm saying? Like.
People that might think, you know, is he really about this nuclear family business that he talks about on the podcast? Of course he is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so, and he stayed in that uncomfortable ass little bench. I don't even know what it is, you know. And yo, I have to tell you, speaking of the hospital, this crazy story. And don't let me go into politics. Okay. But let me tell you how crazy it was. So check this out, guys.
Don't get too specific either with like where or who maybe.
Yeah, no. So, you know, at the hospital, they have that little tray that goes over your bed so that you can eat or whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure the bed's not, I mean, I just couldn't find any comfort, right? So anyway, I had my drink here and it spilt, right?
Oh no.
So then I called the nurse. I'm like, hey, I spilt my drink on the entire bed. So can y'all come change these sheets, right? So they send the cleaning lady to come in. And she's also the lady who's checked my blood pressure before. So I was like, what? Okay, I'm so confused here. So she comes in and she goes, this was hilarious. She goes, oh, you're cute. And I was like, thanks. She goes, yeah, well, when I came in and took your blood pressure, she's like, I really couldn't see you. She goes, that's why you're in this position you're in, huh? And I was like, okay. Then I just started laughing. And then she goes, I said, give me a second. It takes me a bit to be able to walk over there so you can do what you need to do. Well, there was nothing else to watch on TV except for either Fox News, CNN, and just garbage, So I just decided to watch CNN because I wanted to see what they're talking about, right?
What are they hyping up right now?
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm watching it, and then the lady, Rob, I legit got nervous. The lady closes the door to my room. I'm sitting like on the rocking chair, right? Mm-hmm. She closes the door, and she says, ain't this such a mess? And I said, she's setting me up. What is happening? I'm like thinking to myself, like, if she does anything to me, I can't move fast enough. Like, my fucking shit is cut open. Like, I'm walking like grandma's. Like, I didn't know.
You're
what
like
to
fight
do.
or flight immediately.
Yes, exactly. Because I just thought, why did she close the door? Like, we don't know each other like that, you know? And so she's like changing the sheets. She's like, look at him. Biden was on there talking, and she goes, ever thought about why he looks normal today? And some days he's squinting. And I said, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm totally keeping my opinion to myself. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, you're too young. You probably ain't lived through nothing yet. She's like, but I've lived through it. She's like, you got guns? I said, I have a gun at my house. She's like, okay, we'll get you some more guns. She goes, because pretty soon we're going to be shooting each other for food.
Oh, my God.
I said, oh, yeah, you think so? She goes, oh, no, we are. She goes, that's the direct. She goes, all they're doing is division, racism, inflation. She goes, and you know what? She's like, I'm so tired of it. These kids don't know nothing about racism. She goes, I can tell you what racism is. I lived through that. She's an older black woman.
Okay.
And so then she's like, and she's just like preaching to me, right? And she's like, I don't vote either one because neither one of these parties do nothing for me. She's like, but I lived through all this shit already. And she said shit. I'm not just saying shit.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I lived through all this shit already. She's like, and I'm living through it again. She goes, so get your guns ready. She goes, because we're going to be walking outside fighting each other for food. She goes, because that's the direction our country is going. And I'm just like, oh, okay. I'm just sitting there like this, right? Because my
you can't even sit up straight.
Yeah, I can't even sit up straight. And I'm just like, oh, I said, yeah, it's crazy times. And, and she leaves and I'm thinking like, the one time I get left by myself, my mom had left. Pete wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I was like by myself. I was like, it was trippy to me because it was like a random lady who comes in. She checks my blood pressure one time. The next time she's changing my sheets, and then it's like she just starts telling, she closes the door. And I mean, she's looking me straight in the eye, Rob. Like,
what if later you ask for that lady to another nurse and they're like, that lady, no one likes that.
Yeah.
No one like that works.
That would freak me out because that would be me. Because, for me, like hospitals, all I think about is scary movies.
Totally.
And so for me, it's like when we were, so when the therapist came to like do the walking with me or whatever, she was like, I'm just looking at the halls at how long they are. I'm like, oh my God, if something were to go down right now, I can't even run fast enough to like get to the end of the hall. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was just like so far. There was no one out there. It was just like, it was so like yucky. Like I was just like, and I'm such a scaredy cat. Like I don't do the dark, like, and I don't do scary movies. Like I hate all that shit. We already talked about why, because of all the shit that I witnessed as a kid with growing up in the Pentecostal church, watching people have a demon or whatever you want to call it, in them. So it was kind of trippy being in the hospital. That's all I got to say. It was a really different experience for me at this age, especially, right? Like just, it was kind of trippy. And I don't know that I don't know how to sit still, and that's my problem, and that's what I've struggled most with, and it was the most frustrating thing, almost to the point where I wanted to cry. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I just want to be able to do what I need to do. Like I'd get frustrated asking for anything, and then I would just look at, like, for example, I'd look at like, I need to be posting on my Instagram on my apparel. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's my business. It's almost like I closed my business for a little bit because there was no one handling that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, you know, thank God you start. It's weird because you had already been asking me like, hey, do you need me to help you with the podcast account? And I'm like, nah, I'll be fine, you know? And thank God you took it over because that would have been dry as fuck too. You know what I'm saying? My personal one has been as well, you know what I'm saying? But I've been trying to post here. I've just been trying to get in like focus again.
Into the groove.
It's been really hard. And it's hard because I'm still not 100%. I think I just need to hear the words from the doctor that says you're good to go. And once I hear those words, I think I'll be fine. I've been watching so many C-section videos.
Why?
How to recover from a C-section, exercises to do after a C-section, and like, but all of them that with the exercising all say once you're cleared from your doctor. I'm like,
right.
I just want to know your personal experience. Like, when did you start? Like, YouTuber. Like, don't tell me after. And I get it. It's the disclaimer. But yesterday we went for a walk over there in the Heights. I did fine. It was when we were kind of coming back and we kind of stood still for a little bit. It's when I felt my cut. And I told Pete, I'm like, I might need to sit down now. I'm like, because I think I did way too much walking. And so then, you know, we sat down for a little bit and then I was fine. But then we got home. I took my faja off, right? And it was like, I can't be without the faja, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't. I know I've seen a lot of like videos where women say that they regret not wearing their faja after their C-section. I really don't know how they handled not wearing it.
Like just for posture, pain, or?
Well, they give you a specific faja for your C-section at the hospital. And it's
just
to protect it. Yeah, it's to protect it. And it's obviously to keep your stomach together also as well.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm so squeamish about shit like that.
Oh my God. I asked Pete, did you see anything? He's like, yeah, I kind of peeked over for a little bit and I was like, oh. It was like, yeah.
Throughout this whole time too, did you like have that thought in your head where you're just, I can actually switch to myself now? I have my own little corner here, everybody.
Look at that, guys! Look how professional we are now.
OMG! But did you like have a new appreciation for yourself, like for being an able-bodied person that's you're going to recover versus people that will always need somebody to do things for them?
Yes and no, Dick. The way Jerry says.
Shout out, Jerry.
Yes, because I know that there's people who end up in the hospital and where shit happens and infections. And I bled too much during this thing. So I was having to take stuff to help my blood count go up. That happens because of the fibroids.
I had a friend that needed an infusion.
So I didn't need the infusion, thank God. But I bled so much that I was like, I don't know what I asked. And I said, why am I getting there? Like, oh, that's because you bled a lot. And I was like, what? You lost a lot of blood. And I was like, what? Why didn't anybody tell me that? They're like, yeah, we're helping you now. We're getting your count back up. It was like, that's what we got to keep checking, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what? I was like,
you probably don't want to know that though.
I guess I didn't want that. Probably would have made me super nervous.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God though, Rob, whenever, they I guess they they put your body to sleep at the bottom. It's trippy because she's got this little needle and she's like, do you see what this feels like? And I'm like, yes. She's like, okay, do you feel it now? And I'm like, yes. She's like, all right, so I'm gonna do the same thing to your stomach. Tell me if you feel it. When you don't feel anything, that's when they know they're ready and they can start cutting. You know what I'm saying? So she goes, can you feel this? I'm like, nope. Can you feel this? Nope. And it's not like you can see either because you have the sheet. So,
right.
So she's like, okay, she's ready. And I'm just like, oh my God. She said I was ready. Oh, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm ready. And I'm like, and then I'm just feeling super sleepy. I'm like, oh my God. Then I'm like, am I dying? Why am I feeling so sleepy right now? I'm like, my child's about to be, it was so fast. It was the fastest thing ever. You have no idea. It went so fast. Next thing you know, I just felt pressure. That was it. Yo.
Hey, what was faster, having the baby or making the baby? Your camera's over there, by the way. If you want to look into your camera, it's over there.
My partner is actually very good. That's what I can't wait to after this. I'm cleared. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's all I gotta say.
He mentioned the 40 days, 40 nights. He's like, hey man, that's a little too long.
I mean, and did he tell you about Luisa's thing?
No.
Guys, y'all are going to love this episode if you're listening. I have so many things that happened, and hopefully I don't make it too long.
It's a two-parter, though.
It's a two-parter. Okay.
Part 2's on Patreon Friday.
Okay. Because this is so much has happened to where it's like, wow.
Well, remember the Luisa thing, but then go back to all you felt was pressure, and then
I felt was pressure, and then all of a sudden because then this is part of the birthing story that I will have up on YouTube. But for those of you, just to kind of give you what ended up happening was Sunny was stuck. She was stuck. Even though it was 9 centimeters dilated. And for my Patreons, they already got this story, so they pretty much know what happened. But they got to see Sunny first as well. So, they got perks of, yeah. So she was, no pun intended, she was sunny side up.
Oh my God.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Where's my damn drum sound effect? Come on, where's it at? I can't find it.
So she was sunny side up.
Mm-hmm.
And so what ended up happening was she was stuck. So she wouldn't come. The craziest thing was, I've always said this on the podcast.
Yeah.
I can't stand when people tell me, oh, you worked out your entire pregnancy. You're going to spit out that baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Same thing with baby number 2. They would say, you already had one kid. The second one is so fast. I mean, it just happens quickly, like blah, 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 blah. And my midwife can attest to this. And my girlfriend who takes my pictures for my birthing, she will tell you this. And when they both said that, I said, you know what? I believe y'all, but the way I work, it would be my luck that it's not going to go the way that it is. I said, so I'm not going to go in with the mentality of this is going to go real smooth because it just is, right? Sure enough, my midwife says she breaks my water at 1 p.m., right? And she says, all right, guys, it's going to move real fast after this. And I said, okay. So he tells Mickey to stay in her room. He goes and tells my mom, hey, keep Penny in the room. We'll call you when the baby is born. She just broke her water. We're going to start transferring over to the pool so she can start, So nothing happens. 9 p.m. later, I'm having to go to the hospital.
Oof.
From 1 p.m. to 9 p.m., I was just stuck.
Oh, so what's going through your mind? Because you've already been here. You're expecting, you have an expectation, I'm sure.
I was so exhausted. I didn't know what else to do. And I didn't know what was keeping me from not being able to birth. Like I was thinking to myself, is it because I'm stressed about Penny being in the other room and she's stuck in that room all day today? Was it because a lot of things can delay your birth, and believe it or not, this is big with the home birthing community. It's like if you've been arguing with your husband, if your bills, like if you're stressed out about bills or whatever, it can hinder your birthing experience. Like it'll delay it, it'll whatever it is. So it's funny because I'm sitting on the toilet gravity, right, trying to help this baby come down, and one of the other doulas, she says, you don't have to tell us, but sometimes there's things that, I didn't want to moan or make a noise because I didn't want to scare Penny. At first, that was my thing. I was holding it in. They're like, you can't hold in you have to exhale, And then I finally said, I'm just going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because this is hurting me more. You were the one that wanted Penny here. So now you're just going to have to accept it. And so I went, I looked past that, and then I was fine after that. But she just was not coming down. Now, after my midwife evaluated the whole thing, this is like after she came and checked on me, after I came home and everything, I asked her, I'm like, what do you think happened? Like, what happened? Like, baby was down. What was going on? So I guess after she said they like her team, they have like a little like what happened to this birth? Why weren't we successful of being able to have her baby at home? You know, what could we could have done different, etc. Right? And so one of the things that they kind of concluded was with Penny, I discovered the fibroids, right? Which means the fibroids grew with Penny. Penny and the fibroids were friends, right? So they're growing together. Penny is able to push them and maneuver them how she wants because she's been growing with them. Sunny comes into the picture, right? Sunny is growing with friends already. She's meeting her friends. And her friends are big.
And bullies.
Yeah, exactly. So she's having to say, sorry, okay, can I put my foot there? Can I do this? Can I do that? So she's having to work her way around the fibroids versus Penny came in and
she was running shit.
Right, exactly. She had to kind of like figure out her way through the fibroids. She's like, so I think for her, growing and pushing and moving around was a little bit more difficult versus Penny. She was able to grow with them. She's like, so I think that's where we had some issues. Here's what I will say though, Rob. And I don't know if Pete told you about how many hands fondled me. Boy, guys, if I tell y'all this, I felt like, okay, at this point, I don't know that my husband will ever want to have sex with me again because everybody's hand has been in my vagina. Everybody's hand has been in my vagina at this point. And I'm not talking about 1-2 fingers either. Okay. So yeah, I was like, my God, I was like, here's the thing though. My midwife was doing that same thing to, so what they were trying to do was stick their hand in my vagina to flip her so that she would not be sunny side up. And that way she would tuck in her chin and she would start coming down. Right? My midwife was doing that with no medication. Yeah.
Oh my God.
She's doing this all up in my vagina, canal, everything. The whole hand.
That's the kind of visual you need to see on YouTube.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God. And it has to be when there's a contraction. So not only am I in pain for a contraction, but now I've got this woman's hand and they're trying to grab the head to flip her so that she can tuck her head in, you know?
Did you ever feel at any point, I'm never going to be the same again?
Totally. I said my vagina hole's never going to go back to normal. It's official. Like if I needed a tampon, I'm going to need 5 tampons in there because that hole is just, it's shit. It's shattered to pieces.
Like a Chipotle burrito.
It's totally. It gets fucked. I hate to be so visual and so explicit here, but that's just really how I felt. That's all I kept thinking about. I was like, what did you just do? Like this is
I signed up for this?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is how you wanted to kick off 40? Really? Like of all the things you could have chosen on your bucket list, you chose to have another kid and this is what happens, you know? So at that point, I'm just like, okay, it was very, very, very devastating to the point where, guys, I was crying really bad and not even a contraction could like keep me from crying. But I was crying when I heard the words, Marisol, we've exhausted every option. You're going to have to go to the hospital. It's almost like it was death to me. It was the most craziest thing ever, but it was almost like I just couldn't, I felt like such a failure. I felt like, and my midwife was like, what has happened? Well, you know, she's like, don't cry, please. She's like, you know, I know this is not what you wanted. Da, da, da. She's like trying to explain to me, you know, and she's like, this is what we have to do, you know, like, but here's the other option. The doula, my other doula could have stayed, right? I could have sat through more contractions in hopes that Sunny would want to flip over and she could help deliver the baby. All right. So that was option number 1. She's like, we're going to go home. She's willing to stay and help you. And I'm like,
did that come with more risk of anything?
None at all, except you have X amount of hours before the baby can dry up because she's already broken my water. So you have basically like 24 hours, which is not, they don't want to wait the 24 hours, obviously, but you know. So she was like, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, you're being selfish because you want the home birth, right? Because this is how you see your birth.
Right.
But your baby obviously has other plans, and there's a reason why she's not coming out. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why maybe she is stuck. Maybe we don't know, right? Why isn't she coming down? If she's like almost there, I'm 9 centimeters dilated. I mean, pretty much we're done. Like she should have came. You know what I'm saying? So I was like thinking to myself, like a bunch of thoughts were going through my head, to be honest with you. And you know what? I also appreciate Pete for not being like, oh no, we're going to the hospital. Your decision is, you know, it was kind of like, he was like, well, is there another option? And so I appreciated that he felt the same way I did. Like, what else can we do so that the home birth happens so that we don't have to go to the hospital? And so basically it was like, no, we've pretty much exhausted. Let me just tell you how bad I was. When we text my midwife, she was at another birth. Okay. And when we sent her the screenshots of my contractions, she told Pete, no, it's not time yet. She's like, but I'm going to send one of our doulas to go check on her. So at 6 a.m., I had the doula come in. She looks at me and she goes, I just heard her ask Pete, like, how long has she been like this? She goes, oh yeah, since like 2 a.m. She was like, but she's also had them all day Friday. Mind you guys, by the way, I had contractions all day Friday also. So this just wasn't like a one-day thing. I'd had contractions since Thursday night, all of Friday, and now we're going into me having this baby.
Yeah, because we recorded on Thursday, and you started to like mention them, right? Mm-hmm. And we I think you even mentioned like Braxton Hicks on the podcast and this, that, and the other. We talked about it a little bit. And then come Friday, we're going to record again, which was going to be our last day to like get us through all of August, right? Mm-hmm. And you were like, hey, you even wanted to, after I left Thursday, you're like, yeah, we're good. Friday, you were like, I think it's good. And then like a little closer to when we were going to record, you're like, I think I'm just going to take the day because I don't feel so hot. And then I didn't hear from you all week, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to really hit you up, so if you need anything, let me know. And then I think you sent me something randomly. This is Marisol, by the way. Send me something randomly about, like, social media and the podcast and whatever, and I just happened to ask, like, hey, how are you, by the way? How was the weekend? She goes, oh, I'm in the hospital. Long story. I'll fill you in when I feel better. I was like, what? Okay. Glad everything's okay.
I know. Yeah. It was, like I said, it was trippy. You know what, though? Maybe it's just the hospital where I birthed. Mm-hmm. Okay. But shout out to Texas Children. Because I got there and it was funny because my midwife almost had to have like a pep talk with me. She's like, listen, I know how you feel about epidurals. She's like, but your body is exhausted. It's not going to be able to push when you get to the hospital. I need you to listen to me. I can't make you do this. So you still ultimately have the final say. Mm-hmm. She's like, but you need help right now. She's like, you've been in labor too long. Like I've been going through this for too long, right? She's like, your body is exhausted and it's not going to cooperate once, it's time for you to push. And I'm just like, I just go like this. Oh my God, what else? First, I can't have my baby at the house. Now I have to have an epidural. And she just laughs. She goes, most women want the epidural. She goes, and it's funny how I have to have a pep talk with you, Marisol. And I just said, all right, Fran, all right. You know what I'm saying? So we get there. I'm like in pain. Guys, I forget my ID.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because I switched over to my regular wallet. Usually I have this little beady accordion wallet because I like to wear the smaller, if I have the diaper bag, like my bag for Penny, I bring just the little accordion like wallet so I don't have to carry the big old thing. So I forgot to take out the ID out of there. So I'm like, oh my God. So they're trying to talk to me. I'm trying to give them my insurance card and they're asking me all these questions. Meanwhile, I'm like this, as I'm having a contraction, having to sign papers, having to like register myself for the hospital. I'm just like, are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, Jesus. So I get up there and I'm just kind of waiting, and the lady, like the nurses were super duper nice. Like they're checking me and then they're like, well, we're going to get the epidural ready. And they're like, and then they say, you're really nice for somebody who's been in labor for this long. You know, they're like, and you didn't cuss us out. She's like, you know, you didn't get mad when I said that the epidural would be here in like 20 minutes. She's like, most women are like cussing you out. And I'm like, I've been having contractions since 2 a.m. You know, so it's like, what are another few contractions until this lady gets here? Anyway, I got the epidural, bro. Okay. Listen, if I got an epidural every time I had a child, I'd have 100 of them. I would. It was amazing. Now I know why women get them.
I feel like we have to erase like 70 of the podcasts that we've done in the past.
Oh my God. Now I know why women get them. I mean, it's like, listen, they had to like lower the amount of dosage on me because I couldn't feel anything. They were asking me to push. And it's funny because they're looking at the screen. Okay, so rewind. They let me push. This is why I'm saying shout out to them. Mm-hmm. They didn't make me have an emergency C-section, which is what I was afraid of. I didn't want the option of me still being able to deliver vaginal when I got to the hospital. I wanted to still have a regular birth, even if it was with an epidural, even if it was, you know what I'm saying, whatever it was. I just didn't want the C-section.
Gotcha.
Got it? So when we got there, it was like, they were super sweet. I mean, I was really like, I was looking at Pete. I was like, okay, so I might have just been a little judgy towards hospitals. You know what I'm saying? Because they were really nice. And, I mean, they took care of me and they said, all right, you ready? We're going to push. And I was like, oh, y'all are going to still let me push. And then it's like, the girl's like, all right, you're about to have a contraction. I'm like, I am? I'm like, how do you know? She's like, oh, we're monitoring you up there. So they see when I have a contraction, right? And I'm like, I don't feel it. I don't feel, nothing. Not one nothing.
Oh, wow.
Nothing.
Modern medicine, huh?
So she's like, all right, you ready to push? I'm like, okay. I'm like, am I pushing? I didn't know if I was pushing. I'm looking at Pete. I'm like, am I pushing? And they're like, all right, you ready? You have to go like you're pooping. It's what she's telling me. Push like you're pooping. I'm like, I can't even feel my butthole. Like, I'm so numb. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't feel anything. And so I'm like, how am I supposed to push? You got to remember, guys, I come from a whole different experience. So I know to push when there's a contraction. I feel the fucking pain. So I know I'm pushing because the contraction / the pushing is combined together.
Right.
Here, I didn't know if I was pushing. I'm looking at Pete and I'm looking like I'm like, am I pushing? I don't know. Am I pushing? And so they're like, good job. All right. So you try a couple of times. So the epidural finally, like, so they let me rest. They're like, you've kind of been doing this for a minute. Now you're going to have to rest. So now it's like, I have a new shift of doctors now coming in because I've been in labor for so long waiting. Their shift was over. Now the new doctors come in. They're going to let me push. Now it's like 5 a.m. Okay.
Damn.
Sunday. So they come in. They're like, you ready to push? I'm like, yeah. So, my feet are asleep. Like they're tingly. So I'm just like, is that normal? Like, I'm trying to think of all the
worst case scenarios.
Yes. And they're on the paper that you sign too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can lose sensation. I'm just like, so now I'm paranoid about all those things, right? I'm like, oh my God, I can't feel my toes. What's going on? They're like, that's totally normal. Don't worry. I'm like, okay. So I slept from the first time I pushed until 5 a.m. When they woke me up, I was like, what? I'm like, so I slept from like 2 to 5.
Yeah.
So I was like, who sleeps during birth? Like, during labor. This was amazing.
Someone has been doing it for 2 days.
Yes, exactly. I was like, wow. I'm like, this is amazing. And so then it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to lower your dosage because you're not really like, I'm like, good. I'm like, because I can't feel nothing anyway. So then we try again. Now I have a new set of doctors coming in. Here's where I'm getting at. So let's remember, I just said that Fran, my midwife, stuck her entire hand in there trying to turn the baby, right? Well, the new doctor says, all right, so what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to turn her head. So you're going to feel a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of pressure, but I'm going to stick my hand in there and try to flip her. I could see what she was doing, right? Like not literally, but I see what her hand is doing. Yeah. I'm just thinking to myself, wow, I did that with no epidural. Someone stuck their entire hand trying to flip this kid. And I'm sitting here now watching someone do it to me, and we're having a conversation. I'm totally having a conversation with this doctor. Meanwhile, back at home, I'm like, oh my God, Fran. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like in pain because she's trying to flip my baby. And I'm totally having a conversation there. I was like, okay, I might just be the real MVP here. I might just be the real MVP because I've now felt that same thing without medication and with medication. So it's funny because now I'm looking at Pete. She's done stuck her hand in there. So now the other doctor's coming in. He is probably like 6 foot man. Yeah. And he's like, all right, so I'm going to stick my fingers in there and kind of feel. And I'm like, okay, anybody else want to stick their hand? Anybody else? Come on. You nurse, do you want to go next? I mean, at this point, everybody, and Pete's looking and I just can't help it. Okay. I'm laughing on top of that. Okay. So that should just tell you how great an epidural is. So I'm just like, I'm looking at him and I can't help but to laugh. I'm like, telling him like, I tell him in Spanish, I'm like, everybody did this. So when he finally tried to flip her and we weren't able to, that's when he finally said.
Oh, I thought you were going to say when he finally tried to.
You know, he did. Oh, that's what I said. After he finally tried.
No, I thought you meant Chingo.
Oh, no.
I know.
That, I mean, might as well. Anybody else, guys? When he finally said, listen, because they allowed me to push too. So they allowed me to push as well. And then they finally just said, listen, so your water was broken at 1 p.m. on Saturday. It is now 6:30 a.m. Sunday. We have to make a decision fast. Your baby's not wanting to come down. We've already tried all the... And it's crazy because everything that my midwife did here at home, we also did it at the hospital.
That sounds like a really good experience. Like they tried to like make sure you got everything you wanted.
Yes, everything. I was really impressed. I told Fran, I said, I'm glad that she was the one that told me you should go to that hospital. Mm-hmm. I wanted to go to Memorial Hermann because that's where my OB is. And so since he's already dealt with me and so forth, I figured he probably could have done the hysterectomy there. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, if I'm going to have to go through this shit, if I'm going to have to get a C-section, I might as well go where he is so that he can do whatever the fuck he needs to do already, you know? But so I guess they don't have any on-site doctors. They're basically, what did she call them? They're just like rotating doctors. They're basically, they come in and just do different shifts there. And so she's like, with COVID and everything going on, they're the least busy. And she was like, just telling me why she sends anybody who has to go to a hospital, why she sends them there. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good hospital.
Yeah. And so I said, okay. And so I just kind of like, so that was fine. And they did a great job. Once he came and he just said, listen, I understand you want to have a vaginal birth, but at this point it's like the baby's been, you know, they were having to give me basically fluid also so that the baby didn't get dry. Mm-hmm. So he's like, have you considered a C-section? And I just looked at him. I looked at Pete. And it was like, fuck, what else is going to happen? Like, what else is going to happen? Now I'm going to have to do a C-section. I couldn't have my baby at home. Like, what else is going to happen, you know? So I just told Pete, I said, at this point, Pete, this baby needs to come out of me. I am exhausted. I no longer can push. Like, I'm done. I'm legit done. Like, somebody please just take this child out of me at this point. And when I said, I accept that this is what has to be done, they prepped me, and that was it. They came in, they gave me the epidural again, or some kind of shit that they basically slept from, like the bottom. My bottom half was gone, was asleep. And it was so trippy because it's like they're taking me down in a bed, they're to the OR, and then it's like I'm going into this room, and then it's like I'm laying there, and they're like, okay, so everybody in the room, go around and introduce yourself and what you're doing in this surgery. And I'm like, what? There's like a bunch of doctors and nurses, and I'm like, what? Doctor blah, 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 years and da da da. Next. And it's like everybody, it's like a what if scenario for everything is sitting in there ready to help. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, I just hear a baby crying, and Sunny was born. What made me nervous was if baby doesn't cry, we just wanted to let you know that we're going to have to take her, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay. So because she ate some of her poop when she was in my stomach, and that's a really bad thing to happen. So because she'd been in there, and you know what I'm saying? So because she ate some of her poop, should she come out not crying, we're going to have some issues. So they were going to have to clean her up. Something was stuck. So she came out crying, thankfully.
Yeah.
So everything was fine.
Yeah. So you don't ever say what else can happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I was so sleepy from whatever it was that they gave me. I just like looked, and I just remember Pete like looking at the baby, taking pictures of the baby. And I'm just like, I told the lady, I'm like, why am I so sleepy? I'm like, I can barely keep my eyes open. She's like, yeah, the medication does that to some people. And I was like, holy shit. And I just like held my baby, and I was like so happy. And I cried with her. I didn't cry with Penny, but I cried with her. And I was just like, I was so happy to see her. Because at that point I was already getting nervous that she wasn't coming down. Like I could only imagine her being stuck there, you know, like just chilling. Like, okay. Funny thing though is if you listen to the podcast, I said, I feel that she's going to be born on the 1st of August. If she's not born on the 1st of August, she's going to be born after her due date. I really sincerely felt that. Like, sincerely felt that she would. And I asked my midwife, what if you wouldn't have broken my water? Could I have gone that long with contractions? Totally. She goes, that you would want to have done that?
No. Story, yeah.
Yeah, but she's like, but you totally could have. She's like, until your water broke. You probably could have been like that way for the remainder of the week had you not decided. And I was like, what? So I just felt for some reason that I don't know why I felt this about her, but I felt like I'm tired of everyone saying I'm going to be born in July and I'm going to have to share a birthday with my sisters. I refuse to be in the same month as them. And that's why I honestly felt she was going to be born on the 1st. And I just kept telling Pete, I'm like, he's like, okay. I'm like, no, really. I really feel like she's like, I'm not going to be born in the same month as these girls. I'm finna have my own month. I know what I'm telling you. She was born on the 1st.
Damn. And you did say that on the podcast too.
I did. I felt it.
Though you also said, I feel like she's going to let me go to church. Let me pray for her.
No, I said, I hope she at least lets me go to church and let me pray for her. And then she can come later that day on the 1st. Like I was hoping she'd allow me to do the first half. And then that night she, you know, but that didn't happen. She had other plans for herself. So
for you.
Yeah. So she's here now. She's great. She's itty bitty, by the way. And I guess itty bitty compared to Penny, because Penny was almost a 9-pounder.
Wow.
She was only 6 pounds, 14 ounces. So she was tiny compared to Penny. She's still pretty small. She's still in I bought all these 0 to 3 months thinking surely she's not going to be that. I'm not going to have that small of a child. No clothes fit her. Pete had to go to Target and go get her some new like preemie clothes to fit her because she was that small.
Wow.
And she's still pretty small. Nothing fits her still. So we're still like rotating the same 3 onesies until the rest of the other one. I'm not going to go buy anymore because I bought so many of them thinking, you know, she'd be...
You didn't have no more babies, so it's not like...
I don't want to hear the word pregnancy, pregnant, child, ever. Do you know what chucks are? Like they're these pads. No. They're pads that you use when you birth. They're almost like doggy diapers. They look like that. Okay. They're called chucks. But anyway, so the first time I had Penny, I ordered 3 boxes because it wasn't specific on the description, right? That it was a whole box. Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me, of chucks. So I'm like, okay, I'll probably need 2 because I don't really know how many are in here. I'm like, I'm gonna get 3. It's not being specific. Well, I ordered 3 whole boxes of chucks. When they got here, I'm like, why did I get so many? And I'm like, oh shit, but the description didn't say. Anyhow, so I saved them obviously for, you know, I was like, well, if I have another baby, I'm not buying this shit again, you know? So it's funny, whenever my midwife came to check on me, I said, please take these chucks. I don't ever want to see them in my life again. I was like, I don't want anything that has to do with birthing around me ever again. I am done, completely done.
So that conversation of a possible third and a boy and...
Never. Unless someone else is going to carry that baby for me, it is not coming out of me. I'm done. So done. Like this was the most... And people are like, oh, you're such an exaggerator. It was just a C-section. I get it. For a lot of people, it's just a C-section.
Hey, you, fuck you.
For me, it was not. For me, it was like, maybe if it was just like, maybe if I wouldn't have experienced everything that went with it, and it was just like, oh, I already knew I was going to just have a C-section, this probably wouldn't have been so traumatizing. But because the whole process to get there was so overwhelming, it's like, I'm done with birthing. And I have a friend who just had twins. And she just found out she's pregnant again.
Oh, no.
And her twins are 6 months. So she literally waited the 40 days, basically, right? And
to do it all over.
And I said, what? She said, for real. I was like, no way. Funny thing is, I really thought that after this child, I've said it on the podcast, I wanted to try 6 months later for another one because I'm so much older. I can't wait a year. You know what I'm saying? That puts me at 41. By the time I have the baby, 40, you know what I'm saying? It just keeps delaying for me, you know? So, yeah, I can't imagine now. Like, there's no way. I told Pete, I said, if somebody else would carry my baby, like, let's just say my sister would be down to carry my baby, in a heartbeat, I'd have another one. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't to me. Yes, it makes sense.
But it's
no.
not coming it's not coming out of me, like out of my body. No way. I'm not doing that again. It was this. When I tell you guys, I know that I would like be like, man, this was a little bit tougher for me. I'd always say that. Literally, this pregnancy was tougher for me. My midwife really says it's your body's 3 years older. I don't feel 3 years older, if that makes sense. Because I feel like I keep myself pretty fit and pretty, active to where my body. And a long time ago, I had taken a test too. I don't know. Have you ever taken one of those, Rob? They're like, I guess they're like activity tests. I don't really know what you call them, but it kind of tells you where you are, like age wise.
No, but I want to.
I took one of those. When my aunt owned her gym and I taught there, we did one. And at that time I was like 31, 32. And I remember I was like, my aunt was like busting my balls, basically saying, why don't you want to do it? You're afraid that, you're older. Well, I'm like, no, I'm just kind of afraid. Like, I'm not as fit as I think that I am. Mm-hmm. And my entire student body is here. And that, what kind of example am I going to be if I'm like, so she was like, whatever. So I was 31 at that time. 32 at the most, maybe something like that. But my body was functioning like a 24-year-old.
Nice.
That's a huge gap. Like I felt like I was like, what? And that's with like all the drinking and, you know, the no sleeping during my 20s of the partying. I was like pretty good. I haven't taken one since then. Obviously, that's almost 9 years ago, right? So I totally want to take another one again. You know, we should do that for like a video, right?
Yeah.
Totally. I should find a place where they do it. But these people were coming in because my aunt owned a Curves. So they were coming in to kind of do this and they wanted to offer the service there. So they were offering it to the instructors first to kind of do. So that's how I ended up getting one. So
dude, that's so cool. Like, okay, so now you're going to be, next year you'll be,
no, this year
this year you'll be 42.
Yeah,
40.
No,
40.
40. Mm-hmm.
She just turned 42 today. Yeah. How do you feel right now? I mean, obviously you just had a baby and it was the most traumatic experience of your life, apparently. But how do you feel compared to when you took that initial test and it said you were 24?
That's why I'm saying I don't feel slowed down.
Yeah.
I don't feel tired. Like I go. That's why, like I said, having this C-section was that was the depressing part for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know I've never had postpartum, thank God. And that's a serious thing. And that's really something that I want to talk about on the podcast eventually. I'd love to have someone come speak about it. I'd love to have somebody who experienced it.
That might be a good Patreon topic for like a live conversation.
Because I know that a lot of women deal with it. And because when I did the Q&A just recently for my video, someone asked like, did you go through postpartum? How'd you deal with it? I'm going through it really bad to where she can't connect with her baby. I can't imagine that, but I've read a lot about that too, where the postpartum is so bad to where there's the connection with the baby is just not there. And I just can't imagine that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be tough because as a mother, you love your children. So there's got to be something happening. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's really, really an interesting thing, you know, just that even goes on. That happens to a woman. Whenever I was reading that, I was like, fuck, man. It's like, you want to we're going to go back to this, Virginia, give a man credit for this shit? Like, you really want to give, like, all that you've been through, all that a woman goes through, there's no way, like, my feminists, we've got to speak up about this.
Oh, yo.
You know?
There's a Rogan episode that came out yesterday with, any chance you've heard it? Probably not, but you should, and I'll send you the link just so you remember. Megan Murphy.
Why does that sound familiar? Megan Murphy.
I thought it was just like a celebrity, right? Like Brittany Murphy, but I think she passed away not too long ago. But no, Megan Murphy she's a feminist, she was a big feminist on Twitter, and she got banned from Twitter for saying that men were real men, something like that. She writes and talks about transgenders and gay people and all that jazz, mostly like the trans conversation, and her saying that men, like biological men or real men or something like that, got her banned from Twitter. This was a couple years ago. And anyway, she went on Rogan, had a great conversation about the whole thing and how she's still a feminist, quote unquote, but she's much less of a radical feminist than she was a couple years ago. And she goes hard against like, you know, this conversation with, you know, men competing against women and like what's happening to real women and how are we letting this happen kind of thing. Figured it's something you really enjoy.
Oh, I need to listen to that. Yeah, because when you're sitting there and you're going through everything, you know, it's funny when I was laying there and I just like, and y'all motherfuckers want to give these men some credit. You got me about fucked up if I'm ever going to do that. I don't care. I'm just not ever going to do it. You can play this back years. You know how not that I'll ever... Okay, I want to spit good things out into the universe. So maybe if I was Kevin Hart celebrity famous, right, one day.
Yeah.
I don't care if you want to find an episode from my podcast from 10 years ago where I said that, and now you're bringing it up 10 years later. I still will stand by it because I've been through a few things that I think, you know what I'm saying? I know for a fact, unless you're a woman, your body can't do that. I mean, only we can create. If they make it to where a man can create a placenta, okay, then you might be able to change my mind. I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be a different world.
That is an organ that only a female can create and makes only during the time of a pregnancy. We already talked about this on my podcast. So unless you can make that organ, it is what it is.
Use a dude. So before we wrap this up, we should talk about how we're going to be going, or you're going to be going live. I challenged Marisol to do something to get her out of the comfort zone. You know, she's coming out of this, second baby. That was a really hard experience, and she's confident and she can do anything, and she's, always oozes confidence. But one thing that Marisol just couldn't seem to get herself to do was go live on IG.
Yeah.
So we're going to do 30 straight days. No matter, I don't know about
Rob
the time limit.
Rob has challenged me, guys.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Let me tell you why it's really hard. I don't do a really good... Okay, this is how bad it is. Okay, so Pete said, when you order something from PayPal, it'll alert you on your phone that you just paid X amount of money for something, right? Well, Pete uses my PayPal, right? So we're at the storage unit, right? Getting our picking the merch that we need or whatever. And he turns around and says, "Did you order something from My Pillow?" And I just felt hot because it was his birthday gift because he's been wanting a My Pillow.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I wanted to lie so bad because that was his birthday gift. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want him to know.
Yeah.
And he goes, and I said, "Okay, yeah, it was your birthday gift. Sorry." And he was like, "Oh, I was just wondering because I saw this and I just thought it was weird, like that I got this alert." And I was like, I was trying to lie so hard, but you're looking at me in my face. I can't even lie. I'm just not a good I can lie to you over the phone if I'm not looking at you or if, you know what I'm saying? But if I'm face to face, I don't do a good job of lying. Like I just don't, I'm not a good poker face person.
What does this have to do with you going live?
When I go live, if somebody says something I'm just not vibing with, I'm afraid.
You're going to turn into boozy badass?
Yes.
You're going to be Lil Boosie?
Thank you. And I'm just going to have to tell them like how it is. Here lately, I've been posting more things on my story, right? That I normally would have probably have not posted, right? Because I've come to a point now where I feel like if you don't like me, then don't follow me.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel right now. And I just feel like because I don't have time for it anymore. Like I want for people to like me for who I am. I don't want to have to pretend to like the same things you like just so that you can like me and so that maybe you can buy a t-shirt of mine.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're either going to vibe with me or you're not going to vibe with me regardless of if you agree with me or don't agree with me. Because I may not agree with a lot of things that you stand for, but that doesn't mean that we might not connect in another way. And that's my whole point. It's like, I feel like we can all connect regardless of unvaccinated, vaccinated, Democrat, Republican, you know what I'm saying? Purple or green. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel that we all have in some way or form can connect and we don't have to be the same and it's okay. So I've come to a point, and maybe it's because I'm just kind of, I'm turning 40 and I know it's like, okay, so it's just one more, I know, but I just I understand now why older people just don't have filters.
Yeah.
It's like, you've already kind of like, what do I have to prove to anybody? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and somebody recognized us at the park yesterday when we took Penny. You know what's funny? What they said? They're like, "You look exactly like what you look like on your Instagram."
What a compliment.
I said, "Well, what am I like, your hair and everything?" I'm like, well, yeah. I mean,
that's me, player.
That's me. I mean, what am I supposed to look like? I don't know.
Up like this. I woke up like this.
I didn't know if it was a compliment or like a diss,
Dude.
But then he goes, you know, because this is how I knew then it was a compliment. Because you know how there's a lot of people that look a certain way on Instagram, but then in person they don't look the way that they look on Instagram. I started laughing. I'm like, it's me. I just went like that. Like, I didn't know what else to say.
You should have looked into like, I woke up like this.
Right? I was like...
And we've all ran into those people, right? We've all ran into the people that do not look like they look on IG.
Yeah.
Whether it's their pictures or it's their stories or what have you. You look at them and you're like, huh, okay, I see what you did there. You know, do you, I guess.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. But yes, what you see is what you get. What I post on Instagram, it's who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm far from perfect. Like, I don't always wear makeup. Like 90% of the time, my hair's probably in a bun. My extensions are needing to be redone. So they're about to get taken out. So, you know, I've got roots. Look at this. Bro, like, I mean, is my hair black or is it blonde right now? We don't know, you know? So it's kind of like,
as long as you still have that much blonde in it, I dig it. I know a lot of guys. I know some guys or girls would be like, it looks all trashy, and I'm like, yeah, I think it looks sexy trashy.
Well, I think a lot of people do what is that called?
Balayage.
Yeah, there you go. So mine's just too like defined.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be more like smoothed in there. I guess if I really wanted I could go and make it more blended, right? But I obviously get highlights. I don't go and do the balayage or whatever that's called. So. What's that other thing called? I can't think of it. For a hot second, it was cool to have all these roots, and then the bottom part was like the blonde. I can't think
Your mom's
a
hairdresser.
Yeah, I know. I can't think of what that was called. My mom hated that too. It would drive her bananas.
That style?
Yes. She'd be like, I can't believe people come in and ask me for this. She's like, I don't even like for a little bit of my root to show. She's like, and these people are coming in here wanting this.
Old school versus modern Americans, I guess.
I'm kind of the same way. There's only so much of this I can do. And even Penny said, she goes, aquí es negro y aquí blanco, blanco, blanco. She's talking about
you should have asked her, ¿te gusta? And she'd be like, no.
Like when I came home from the hospital, y'all, she looks at the baby, and she looks at my stomach, and she looks at the baby, she goes, otro bebé? I was like, oh, Penny.
Ooh, if I could run, I would run at you right now.
Penny. I said, no, ya se salió el bebé. Oh. Tienes panza grande. I'm like, you're so honest. Thank you for that, Penny. My self-esteem is already shattered. I don't need for you to.
You should have been like, don't you have a dance class to get to?
Exactly. I
have
was
her
like,
start crying.
Okay. Thanks, Pen.
I remember
but yeah,
this.
so I want to try these live things. I think they're a great way for me to connect. I've talked about that, guys, before I went on maternity leave. That I wanted to connect better with you guys, and I wanted to be more I think we need a community. I think we don't have
available.
Yeah, I don't think we have a good community of women. I've tried to look up, and I'm sure there are, maybe I just don't know of them, but I've tried to look up like other female women that like really support women and are really out there trying to do things for women. And it's funny because these are topics that I want to talk about, right? But like for me, the self-help stuff, right? To me, I feel like when is it too much self-help before you're not even executing any of the self-help and you're just stuck in this? I read self-help books, I read positive quotes in the morning, but I'm still not living the life of what I'm trying to. It's like at some point, unless you're really dealing like with a mental issue, like a mental health issue, I think that's probably when it's a little bit harder for people. But then you have those who just kind of like are just fun suckers. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, they're just like energy suckers. They're just like, they're unhappy about something. There's just not really more mental health. It's more of like they're just unhappy about something.
Yeah, Duncan Trussell calls them energy vampires.
Yeah, so it's like something else is happening where it's not a mental health issue. So it's like, well, yeah, ma'am, no matter how many books you read, no matter how many activities or how many like, positive women you surround yourself with, you're never going to get better. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still unhappy, and it's like all intertwined. And those are things that I want to talk about. I think I told you.
Yeah. Did you and Chingo talk about this by chance? This whole self-help thing? We did an entire Chingo chat, which went up today, where it just kind of turned into this exact conversation.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Okay. See, we are
very in tune.
Me and him are very in tune. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I literally just thought about that this morning because I told you I was watching something. I was just like, I can't do self-help stuff. Does that make sense? I can't do that. For me, I have to like think about my problem, whatever my problem is. And for me, it's like, I have to find a solution. I can't let me go look up somebody who's going through the same issue and see how for me, it's like, and I think that's what I want to like kind of put out to people. It's more like, sometimes what works for other people is not going to work for you. So that's why sometimes that self-help book doesn't work for you, because it's just maybe not the way it's not the way your brain thinks. It's not the way you think. It's not the way you actually do things. Some people like to do things like in steps. You know what I'm saying? Some people get overwhelmed by, You know, first you meditate, and then you journal, and then you go for a walk, and then you do your bed. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of people, that's like, wait a minute, like one step at a time here. You know what I'm saying?
You picking
like,
on Jordan Peterson? What are you doing?
For me, though, I make the bed.
Yeah.
I have to make the bed. Meditating is hard for me.
Yeah, you can't stay still, much less your mind.
Exactly. Meditating is really hard for me. But I can do it at night when I'm going to sleep. I can listen to a meditation. So there I'm fine. And it's because I think I'm trying to wind down.
Sure.
No longer trying to think of anything. So it makes it easier for me. But do you see, I had to find that.
Mm-hmm.
I tried meditating in the morning with Pete. We would try together. I couldn't get into it. I'm so sleepy in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Having my coffee for me is how I wake up. So if you're bringing me down
Sure.
with like trying to like start off the day with meditation, for me, it's like,
you need that jolt.
Exactly. So I need coffee. I need someone to, whether it be like a real talk, Kim, like, get it. Come on, girl. You can do this. I need that. I need a pep talk. Like, you got this.
You
know
need the rah-rah.
Exactly. Exactly. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Start your day great. Now breathe in and breathe out. It's like,
I think for a lot of people, the self-help thing, you know, there's a lot of this paralysis by analysis. You read so many books, you actually can't make any moves because of it. But when Ching and I were talking about it, I think a lot of people, like you described it, you're looking for the answers in these books. Whereas the way I see it is that, like, if you read, you know, The Power of Now, or How to Win Friends and Influence People, or whatever, or Tony Robbins, you know, whatever it is, The Great Awakening or something like that. I think some of those things have pillars, you know, they're fundamentals of life that some people don't have. Like we talked about how common sense isn't so common in some people, and a lot of people. Learning or reading about mindfulness, or learning and reading about patience, and these different pillars of life will help you when you need to solve your own problems. But a lot of people just go in circles. They have none of these fundamental pillars about how to, you know, disassociate from what's going on, because it's them and their life and their problem, and they don't read from nothing else. They don't take from nobody else. That can be a bit of a hindrance if you don't know how to deal with those issues.
I really just want to make a community of women where we're no longer catty towards each other. Listen, if you're just going to talk about the other person to another person, just probably don't be their friend.
Yeah.
You know?
That might be the best nugget of knowledge in this podcast.
Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you even have the urge to have to talk about that person to another one of your friends, they probably just shouldn't be your friend. And or you should probably tell that friend directly to her face.
Yeah.
Like how you're kind of feeling versus, you know, I don't know. Like my circle's super duper small. There's a reason why I keep it that way. I don't have friends that I can just go party with. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Most of my friends are moms anyway. And so a lot of their time is spent hanging out with their kids. And when they do girls' night out, it's like once in a blue moon. It's everything's usually like, hey, do y'all want to do an activity? It's usually a family activity. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, my ideal girls' night out would probably be, to be honest with you, just sitting by myself. Like no one talking to me, no one asking me for anything, nothing. Like just me and my coffee, and leave me alone. And probably look at social media for fun.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
Versus ideas, versus like, let me look at this brand. Oh, I wonder how you do this, right? And so look at social media for fun. And I think that would be a little bit, that's fun for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Not look to it to try to get triggered.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, you know, sometimes we do. We're just guilty of like, let me go in there and just get mad.
Exactly. I do that with Twitter with Lena Hidalgo. She's the prime person for
Let's
me.
not even go in there yet.
She's the number one person. I have no idea why she just gets to me. It's just the one person that can. And I think it's because I think she's Hispanic, and I just really wish that like she would just honestly say something along like, listen, guys, there's no need for us to be mad at each other. Did I send you that thing that Lil Duval posted?
No.
Check this out,
Love
guys.
Lil Duval.
And yeah, I love Lil Duval. He's hilarious. It was somebody else's tweet, and it said, I'm so tired of people who are vaccinated acting like they just died for our sins. I read that and I was like, oh my God, so true. Like, that's why I posted that thing yesterday with the pastor. Because I'm tired of it. Guys, do y'all not see that we're like being so divided in every angle? Whether it be how you stand politically, where you stand with the jab, how you stand with, racism, critical race theory. It's just like, I'm done.
Dude, Boosie, that somebody asked him something. I don't know if Charlemagne or one of them asked him something about, isn't that kind of racist? He goes, I'm not racist. I'm righteous.
It's just like, you see what I'm saying? It's just like,
yeah.
I'm just kind of done to where when I saw the whole Afghanistan thing, I'm just like,
it's too complex of a situation. It's too complex of a subject, that was it I was just like, and you know what's crazier? I asked Luisa, I'm like, she walked in that morning when I was watching it. I woke up to it because, I'm really been on social media, and I was like, what is happening? I felt like the day I woke up, I just moved back from College Station when 9/11 happened. So I hadn't been here that long. I was going to U of H. I was getting ready for school. I remember I turned on the TV. When I turned on the TV, it was when the second plane hit. Oh, jeez.
I was like, what the fuck movie is this? And I was pissed because I like to watch the news in the morning. So I changed it to the next channel. Now it's the part where it explodes. The building's coming and I'm like, what is it? The next channel, it's like people are running. I'm like, I'm getting chills thinking about it right now. I didn't know what was going on. It felt like a movie. Like I was watching a movie, and I was like, what just happened here? So when I woke up to the whole Afghanistan thing, it was like deja vu for me. I was like, what happened while I was asleep? Wait, what did I miss yesterday? Or he's like, because I've been trying to stay away from that, whole thing. Yeah. And I was just kind of like, my goodness, like, yeah, y'all, at some point we've got to say enough is enough. Yeah, at some point, you know what I'm saying? For everybody's sake, like it's just, the kids not wearing a mask or not wearing a mask to school. You know what? It's not the government's job to tell me what I need to do with my children. Yeah. It's my job. So if as a parent, I decide that my child is going to wear a mask to school, then he's going to wear a mask to school. If I don't want my child to wear a mask to school, then she's not going to wear a mask to school. It's my decision, not yours. When I saw that other video of the teacher telling the students that their parents are stupid.
Oh, the Utah teacher?
And that you're smarter than your parents. I told Pete, I said, if my child came home and said that, I said, I'd be up at that school so quick. I'd be like, who's stupid? Who's stupid? Tell me to my face. Who's stupid? We'd have a problem.
Yeah.
We'd have a huge problem. And you know what sucks about that is that there's good teachers out there.
Oh, yeah.
And the good teachers are like being put in the same, it's almost like the police officers. There's great police officers out there, and then there's shitty ones. You know what I'm saying? But the good ones are also being put in the pile of the bad ones, just like teachers are. There's amazing teachers out there.
That goes for anything, right? Any profession.
Yeah,
good
exactly.
Doctors, lawyers, judges, and even just regular citizens.
Yes.
One bad apple, makes a really bad picture for a certain demographic, right? Sometimes. So it's just
And
everybody.
It's what's happening right now, guys. And it's like, when are we going to just kind of say, when are the American people just going to say, enough is enough?
They're doing it now.
I really hope so. I really hope that people just stop it.
Yeah.
Like, just put an end to it. Like, that same pastor that I sent you yesterday, I saw another thing that he said. It's, what was it? Basically, it was like, at some point, like, God's not going to let us continue like this. It's going to blow. It's going to, it's all going to come out. You know what I'm saying? And God's going to slowly reveal it to the people. And I'm not trying to get religious here, but when you think about it, it's like, whether it's whoever you believe in, whether it's God or not, right? Mm-hmm. Things are slowly revealing itself. Yeah. And eventually everybody will open their eyes and see that they've been fucking with us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think
And the American people allowed way too much to happen without putting their foot down, saying, whoa, 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 you know?
Yeah. I know there's a lot that goes on around the world, but when we just look at the United States, and because, you know, this is where I'm from, where we're from, I think where most things matter most to me, it's just what it is, right? It's set up in a way, and I said this on RPT, it's set up in a way where you can't take away our freedoms. We have to give them away. That's why the Constitution starts with we the people, right? So a lot of people have just willingly given away their rights or giving away the things that, you know, they're allowed or not allowed to do. They can't take that shit from you. And finally, I think people are like, okay, you know what? No, you're not doing that at school. Like our guest from Louisiana, they're going to the school board and they're setting up these meetings and stuff. And the school board's, you know, not even showing up or not letting people in because once the people push back, what else? Well, you can't do anything.
And it's like, I just don't get it. Like, what are y'all hiding? What are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to...
Money and power.
Yeah, I know, but that's the thing. And I'm glad parents are finally speaking up and showing up. But you know what? If we all did that, like if we all did that, and then Marissa and I have talked about this a gazillion times, like show us the receipts. Why is Marissa, for example, having to put her child in a private school when she pays taxes where she lives?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. So we should be able to put our children in the school district where... I tried to explain this to Luisa the other day. Let me tell you why. Because she said, you should put Penny in the school that my granddaughter went to. And I said, oh, yeah, I don't know if my child's going to go to public school. She's like, what? I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, why do you and Jingo always say that? I'm like, I don't think you understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I try to explain to her. And I don't think she understands because she's not from here, right? Excuse me. When we talk about everything that's going on, it's kind of a little bit harder for me to help her understand and explain because she's getting the benefits of what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So for her, she thinks it's a great thing because they don't get things like that in Mexico. So I get it, right? But for somebody like us who we understand about taxes and how we're inflation and so forth, it's harder for us to kind of explain to her, right? So I just told her, I said, listen, I said, do you remember when you told me that they haven't been teaching Michelle any English, right? She said, yes. I said, do you know why? And so I kind of went into it. I said, this is why my mom didn't put me in ESL. And I'm sure things have changed now. Like, listen, guys, I'm about to be 40. So I went to school in 1984, 5. That's when I started kindergarten or pre-K, whatever that is. So 1985, guys. So things have way changed since then. I'm sure maybe programs are way better than when I was going to school, right? And I can only hope that things get better, right? But the fact that nowadays they want to, while I've been gone, right? While I've been asleep, I want to say, there's some states out there that are removing reading and math from requirements. Guys, what are they doing to our children? What are they doing? And why are parents okay with them removing? Listen, guys, if you're from my era, and if you disagree with me, again, I'm okay with you disagreeing with me, but in life, it doesn't work that way. We don't win at everything. So we can't make life easy for our children. You know what I'm saying? So if you're if you're struggling with reading, then it might be important for us to sit down and figure out, listen, if you're a single parent who probably can't spend the time, maybe ask the school, do you guys have tutors? Right? Is there a tutor there that can help my child with their reading? You know what I'm saying? Is there another family member that can maybe help you out? You know what I'm saying? Hey, my child's having trouble reading. Can you come over? Maybe read a book. Maybe you read a book with them every night. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be, again, it's like we've allowed for other people to take over our kids. We forgot that a lot of it is our responsibility before it becomes the responsibility of a teacher to do anything. Like my girlfriend told me the other day, she's like, she goes, it's amazing everything that you do with Penny. And I was like, oh, you're so sweet, right? Because, she's my friend. So she's like, no, she's like, whenever I worked with the kindergartners, she's like, as a volunteer in her daughter's class, she's like, you'd be amazed at how many children still don't know how to cut, cut with scissors.
Yeah.
I bought Penny scissors, and everybody's going to think I'm crazy. They're the kids' scissors, right? I bought them from the teacher school. We cut out the alphabet, right? And it's for her to start I feel like she's so curious with when she sees scissors. So I saw that myself, and I said, okay, I need to go get her some kid scissors so that she knows the difference. So I explained to her, these are adult and these are for children. These can cut, and I'm like trying to explain to her how dangerous it is and blah, 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 right? So we start cutting out alphabet. So I print out the alphabet. I let her cut it out. So she is obsessed with cutting out the alphabet. But at the same time, we're learning letters, we're coloring and so forth. So my friend's like, there's so many parents, their kids start school. They don't even know like how old they are. And you know what I'm saying? They can't even, she goes, it's great that you do that with her. And I'm like, well, thank you. I thought like every parent kind of does that. You know what I'm saying? Pete just sent me a video of Penny from when she was probably a year and a half. She's counting to 10. Mm-hmm. Right now she's at 16, 17. That's how she says it, guys. I can't tell the difference of which one it is, but she's adorable. But you know, see what I'm saying? But I've been doing it with her every time we would get in the shower. I'd say 1, 2, 3 toys. Son 3 juguetes. You know what I'm saying? So everything was like a learning thing. I think I've told you guys, Luisa used to always tell me, man, everything's a learning thing for you. And it is for me because I want her to know, you know what I'm saying? She's pretty alert, you know what I'm saying? For a little 3-year-old. So I think that a lot of it, and it's like the nuclear family, everything, we've forgotten those basic things to where we've allowed the devil, because it's what it is, the devil, to come into our home and influence us with division. And we've allowed it. Like people have stopped being friends with other people during this time. You know what I'm saying? You've seen people get shot for no reason. I mean, did Pete tell you about the chef that we know?
No. No, but I kind of actually knew about that just because of social. I think we followed mutual people, but I knew nothing about what happened.
Okay, so and we'll end it with this because it's just my point of this is, guys, is I want to make a community for women legit where we're done with the catty because we're old, guys. We're like, it's got to stop. You can't be catty when you're old. Like if you're still having to say fuck that bitch, and if you're still, I can't stand that. If you're still having to, she don't like me because I used to talk to this guy that she talked to, and so now you know what I'm saying, she disrespected me. Wait, what? How old are we again? Listen.
Listen, Linda.
If that guy is talking to your friend now, it's probably because he didn't want to be with you either. So, I mean, and he wasn't for you. You're not with him anymore. So let him go be somebody else's problem now. I don't get that, right? I'll never get it. I might not ever get it. So maybe that's a problem I have. I don't know. But my point of this is, before I tell you guys this story, is I really hope that with the HERR community, it's literally, I named my YouTube channel all about her. And it's because women, if you ain't figured it out, we make this world go around. And that's all there is to it. And if we smartened up, we'd have everybody trained the way we wanted to. It's real simple. It's real simple. It is. Because we got all the goods. We literally, you depend on a woman for a lot of things, just like women depend on men for a lot of things. And if we just accepted that we need each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you sent me that Dave Ramsey tweet.
Yes. I mean, it's like if you just literally, if you just stopped dividing yourself in your own home between you and your husband. Well, he does this and I do that. If you just kind of stopped and just kind of planted your feet on the ground and say, you know what, we about to be a team. We're a team effort. You finna be winning.
Yeah.
Because teams that work together, all they do is win.
Yeah, all they do is prosper.
Exactly.
I hate things that are ineffective and inefficient and just unnecessary. It's just kind of like a waste of time, waste of space kind of things. Mm-hmm. Same thing with those kind of it's just a waste of time. It's ineffective.
It is. And that's why I don't have the energy to fight with other women. I don't have the energy. I might have had it in my earlier days, and I might have, but
you can't be 40 with living like you're 24, exactly. Right? You can't maintain that youthful life if you're fucking being catty.
You have to be right for you. You have to be right for your children if you have children. Mm-hmm. If you don't have children and you're young and you're listening to this, listen, I need to do a whole episode of shit that I did that when I was young that I shouldn't have done. If I would have told my 24-year-old self what I know now, bro, I would have lived a totally different life. Not that I lived a fucked up life, but I just wasted time on things that didn't matter.
And that's why I think these lives will be really good because you'll be able to get a lot of those points out there. Like if for all the bad things that social media has, the censorship, the kind of making people self-censor themselves, it does give you the ability to have a platform to talk to people. And once you've developed one, whether you have 5,000, 10,000, 20, or Chingo, hundreds of thousands of people, you might as well use it for some good. Hopefully not to the extent that Boosie did, where he got, removed at 10.5 million people. But if you got a message and, it's valuable to people, which they'll be the determiners of that, then you got to use it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just kind of how I feel like, let's just put all our good energy together, guys. And that's why I want to create this community. And that's when I made that Facebook group. That's the reason why I made sure I filtered it, because I didn't want no messy bitches in there. I didn't want for you to come on here and be negative towards another negative. You were going to get deleted in a heartbeat.
Just good vibras.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you have a shirt like that?
I have a shirt that says good vibes only. I'm making that one. I'm going to bring it back, but on a different color shirt. I didn't really like it on the gray, but it did sell out anyways, but I'm going to bring it back on a different color. I think it'll be more on point. But my point of it is literally, it's good vibes only, work together. If you don't like somebody, just don't have them in your circle. If you have to deal with them because just for some reason there's no way, maybe you just work with that person, or they're married to your brother-in-law, whatever it is, right? It's a family member that you just can't get away with. Make the best of it and make the minimal thing. And there's nothing better than killing somebody with kindness. They can't stand you even more. And then they can't say nothing bad about you. It's damn, I be trying to get that bitch mad and she still don't get mad, She's still hella nice to me, and it's you're just getting more brownie points for when, what I'm saying, when God comes. That's all I got to say. Because I'm telling y'all right now, get right with God, because
there it is.
It's happening. But let me finish with telling y'all this story about how crazy, how divided and crazy we are right now. And people are on edge and they don't realize it, So the chef that we know, guys, and I'll post his GoFundMe on there as well, on my Instagram stories, if anybody's interested in donating to their family, because he had just opened up his food truck. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they put all their money into that. His wife's a stay-at-home mom who helps him on the truck, and he's going at he had just finished getting things ready, realized he was missing some things, goes to Kroger's in the middle of the night to get food that he needs for the next morning on his truck. He happens to walk out, witnesses a couple arguing. You just kind of look, mm-hmm. and you just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And he looked over, didn't think nothing of it, goes to put up his shopping cart, and the guy gets pissed off and says he didn't like the way he looked at him. He's like, what are you talking about? I didn't look at you. He's like, I saw you. So he kept walking, ignored him, right? Gets in his car, and as he's trying to pull out, he blocks him and just shoots him 8 times. 6 of them hit.
Damn.
Hits his arms, his neck, his mouth, and he's still standing, guys. He's still standing. That's how on edge people are right now. And you just don't know, like, how crazy, like...
Yeah, people are losing their minds right now.
They are. And that's what I mean. Like, we're so divided right now.
People are psychologically unhinged right now.
It's like, if we can all just work together, it'd be better Americans, better humans. And like Marissa says, you know, she's not perfect. We all know that, you know, she's not perfect, but she's still one of the greatest countries in the world. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if we all did our part to make it better.
Did they cast the guy?
Yes. And then I'm talking to the chef, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I mean, their baby is 6 months old.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't imagine that. I don't know how she did it, like, to be like emotionally stable, because I don't know that I could. I'm not good with stuff like that. Sure. I would have probably had a shit attack like galore. And whenever I asked him, like, did they catch him? The guy has been released from jail several times, and he's been arrested for having a gun, for domestic violence. He was out on bond for something else, like all these things. And it's funny because he stands neutral politically, mm-hmm. right? But I don't know what he said to where he says something about the world was crazy, right? He said something along those lines. I said, yep. And then he said, oh man, what were his exact words? Basically, like, instead of them worrying about what school districts are supposed to be wearing masks, right? Mm-hmm. She's like, Lena Hidalgo needs to be helping get a lot of these criminals off the street, because that's when he said, look at this guy's rap sheet, basically. Right. And I said, oh, I know. Don't get me started. He has no idea how I feel about her.
That's funny.
Which I thought was funny that he brought her up. Mm-hmm. He's like, everybody's worried about these masks right now. He's like, and no one even knows how much crime is happening out there because of everything that's happening. But people are so on edge, like you said, right now. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what to do. A lot of people are still not working. People are being evicted. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much happening to where it's like, what? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So be careful out there, guys. Like, don't honk at people if they cut you off. Just kind of like suck it up. Trust me, it's hard. I know, because I'd be wanting to do it sometimes. Or when someone's just like driving crazy, you're just like, but join my community, guys, of nothing but, you know,
good vibras.
Good vibes. Good vibes tribe. Ooh, that sounds like a shirt.
Yeah.
Good vibes tribe. That's what I need to do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your vibe is your tribe is a popular quote.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys on Friday.